So here, okay, this is a bit off. So he called, I assume Trickett raises. I don't know what's happening here. This could be a limp call. I honestly don't know what's happening here. But there's only a small raise, so it seems like the straddle is off. Could be like a limp call. I honestly have no idea what's happening here. I don't even see the button. Okay, I think I saw the button. Okay, I think this is, yeah, this seems to be blind versus blind. So it seems like Scott Seiver limp called here against Trickett's Jack-7 raise. So Jack-7 is a fine hand to raise, you know, combo of raise and check. And Seiver, I mean, you can play many strategies, but I think having a limping range with the ante is a fine play. There's actually quite a big ante, or decent ante in there. It's a quarter big blind rather than a fifth on stars. So I think having a limping range is good. Then ace-5 is a fine hand to limp call with. As for the 6-7 deuce, this board is pretty solid for Seiver. I mean, he's going to have a lot of pairs. At the same time, he's not going to hit too much really good stuff, right? He's going to maybe have like 6-7 suited sometimes, or you know, maybe he limp calls a hand that makes a set, or he'll have something like 9-8, but it's not a fantastic spot for him. As for Trickett's hand, you know, I think this is not the worst hand to sometimes check back, having like a medium 7 with no backup, especially deep. So I wouldn't mind a check behind here, but I think a bet is fine too. And then if he bets, Seiver should be full, despite it sometimes having the best hand. There's just no way Seiver gets a showdown really and realizes his equity. Medium-sized bet. This is a very easy check fold on the flop. This is not a good check call. It's too loose. Unless he has a solid read on Trickett. So I actually wouldn't mind a lead here. Trickett's going to have a lot of hands that will have decent equity and visibility against Seiver, but he will not be able to call them. So I mean, Seiver's mostly calling with a 7 or a 6 here, and he still has those draws. So he could lead out, he could check. Both plays are fine. I've seen Seiver call in there before and donk the turn, so he might throw that in there. Obviously not going to work here. He's thinking. He's thinking. Yeah, he's going for it. Okay, he leads the third pot roughly. I think he should lead much bigger than that or a bit smaller than that. I assume he's leading his whole range, so I think he should lead a little bit smaller. So Trickett, I mean, he's got an interesting decision. So he has nearly the nuts. I mean, he realistically only loses to Queen 7 suited, King 7 suited, and Ace 7 offsuit or suited. Scott may have raised some of them on the flop as well. So, but at the same time, you cannot always raise over the 7, right? Because then when you just call, you're very weak as well. So with this combo, mostly you want to end up raising, but sometimes calling is cool too. If we had the nuts and we had a hand like maybe like 7-6, let's say, that's a hand you just want to call, because now it's less likely Scott Seiver, you know, leads here with King 6 suited and then calls the raise. Very easy fold by Scott. Okay, I do like that. What sizing is better to lead here? You probably want to lead more like a quarter pot, somewhere around that sizing. So yeah, I think Trickett's play was pretty good. Sizes could be slightly adjusted, but fine play overall.